You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning. Call in now.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. See, if that's not the realest shit in the world, I don't know what is. Everything is clicking and working. Peace to the family. You know, I be caught up in them vibes early. Let me take another sip of this. You can fill in the blanks. Hood morning to the family. I'm the Hood Mystic, representing www.hoodmystic.com. For the full transcript of this video and all my other videos, be sure to visit www.hoodmystic.com, and that's for readings, information about books, got a whole about page about manipulating the matrix, astrology explained. So say for instance you thinking about my books and things of that nature, you could go to my website and actually get a little preview of information and things of that nature. So be sure to visit www.hoodmystic.com. Also, these hats, Lux hats, columbianexchange.com as well. You know, support. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Today we're talking, before we talk about today, just give like some couple of updates. So the day before yesterday, maybe the day before that, I was referencing Aquarius and Aquarius beta and saying how Mercury was going direct on that actual star. And because of this, because it was going direct on Saddam Hussein, it's Saldu Saad or something to that effect. But yeah, I was referencing how people who have abused their power, they will be dealt with. So as soon as I said that, I looked on the news and I got a little alert from CNN on my phone, like, yeah, Harvey Weinstein got 23 years. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. And then maybe a week ago today, I did a video called the Kobe virus. And the coronavirus was like important on the news and stuff like that, but it wasn't that big of a deal last week. Fast forward a week later, it's like going crazy. Even more so last night, my man Spaz Gritsky hit me on Instagram. If you want to hit me on Instagram, DM me and all of that. It's the Hood Mystic. Beyond that, Spaz hit me on the DMs like, bro, look at this. The NBA not even playing no more games. After last night, because the coronavirus is so real, I'm like, damn, that is crazy. The Kobe virus is in full effect. So I'm saying all of that to say that maybe maybe the truth is a little stranger than fiction. Maybe we are moving to a different time. I know kids are happy. They shutting down school. They don't get to go to school and things of that nature. People getting to work remote from home and stuff like that. You know, it's a real change. They gave Harvey Weinstein not 24 years, not 20 years. They gave him 23 years. You feel me? The NBA season is suspended. This is some serious stuff. And I always wanted to say, like, when people always reference Kobe Bryant and the Lakers, when Kobe Bryant retired, he went to 2 Laker games. Like, he went to a handful of games. You never see him at the Laker games. He was doing other shit. You know, he supported the WNBA more than he supported the NBA. So it's a very interesting time, very interesting turn of events. I was just laying in bed thinking, like, where is life headed? You know, because I know that life is headed somewhere, right? It's not headed to the same place that it would be. I guess the idea would be like, you know, I wonder if this thing is going to ever get back to normal. And my answer to that would be no. So at this point in these conversations in the development of spirituality and spiritual practice and spiritual development, we want to create a new normal. And that new normal comes from personal revelation, personal habit, personal things that you do. And then you match up, right? Shout out to my man, Moon, down in Cincinnati, down in Norwood. We had a beautiful build on Instagram. Hit me through the DMs, The Hood Mystic, chatting and things like that. He like, yeah. Showed me this mound in Norwood. That triggered a thought in my mind. I started thinking about Ross Ben's book. I cracked open my mound book and started like, oh yeah, it's mad mounds in Norwood. I start sending him the flicks. He starts sending me his compilations. He on the mound tip and he in Cincinnati. I'm on the mound tip and he in Columbus. This is something that's inner. We don't have the conversation beforehand, but throughout doing this inner process of finding out what resonates with us and then cultivating that, learning more questions, asking more questions about what resonates with us, we find our tribe. But it doesn't start off, well, it might be external, but that external has an internal vibration that we want to somehow focus on. And so this all references Moon going transiting out of Virgo into Libra, right? So what we're trying to do is become independent. We're striving for strength or independence today, right? Independent in the fact that you might not do what everybody else is on. And everybody, all of these types of, it's so funny looking at the facts of the matter and then looking at the response. It's like, don't go somewhere. Like, I see people do ignorant shit all the time, right? It's like a whole world full of ignorance. Like, you can go to a bar or something and see people do ignorant shit, put their life at risk. You could go to goddamn Popeyes or, you know, one of them. I wake up, I might go get me some water or something like that, or put some gas in the car. It's a line all the way around the corner for McDonald's in the morning. Like, that's dangerous. Eating McDonald's in the morning, like eating McDonald's at any point of the day is just a danger, but nobody is causing no alarm. Nobody is shutting shit down. You know, on a hot Friday night, I see the line as long as fuck outside of the liquor store. That's dangerous, right? Nobody cares. Nobody's stopping that, you know, so forth and so on. You know, there's a lot of dangerous shit in the world today that nobody feels that they need to be protected or protect you from. So the reality of today is realizing that danger is something that you either going to accept, or love is something that you're going to accept, but choose which one, right? Are you independent Or are you dependent? Are you dependent on your government? Are you dependent on your media? Are you dependent on your friends and family? Are you dependent on your expectations that you put before yourself? Are you dependent on your personal ambition? Are you simply dependent on your soul? Are you simply dependent on the moment, right? Because if we understand anything about yesterday, we're not in the space of time. We're in the space of existence. We're in the space of awareness. This is a new reality. As the earth changes and shifts and the planetary alignments change and shifts, so does our world. What do you mean? I mean, in the 1960s, the vibration was different from 2020. It's not evolution. Some things have devolved. Some things have entropy. Some things have fallen apart. It's not to say that time and space is different or good. It's just different. It's just different. Certain things are going to fall off and certain things are going to grow. And it's an agenda. Of course, it's an agenda to get you out of being independent. If the government falls, then you begin to look to see what you can do in that moment. And then once you look to see what you can do in that moment, you evolve. You adapt, right? We always can adapt, and you, no matter what situation you find yourself in, you're not going to crumble. You're not going to fall. You're just going to look around and say, okay, what do I have to do next? Because hidden potential, if not invoked, generally has to be evoked, meaning that if I make it good for you, then you're going to be walking around here with your head all big and your ass all fat, and you just, everything is just perfect because, you know, everything just worked out for you. Congratulations. You're not wanting to tap in. You're not wanting to dig deeper. You're not wanting to expand your horizons because everything worked out perfectly for you. Why would you? It's just an enhanced, inflated ego. But then when negative things happen, it's like, oh, how could this fucking happen to me? Right? As opposed to thinking that, okay, this is trying to bring something out deeper, something more profound within me. And looking at your challenges, looking at the negativity, looking at the quote unquote viruses and the quote unquote coronas for what they are. A chance to tap into something deeper within you, a chance to look at the world in a more profound fashion. You can go click into the agenda and they doing this or they doing that, and that's going to institutionalize you. We're trying to get more communal and more resonant to the soul and more resonant to the ancestors, because if we ever needed answers, this is the time that we absolutely need answers. And the answers that we need aren't the regular, I'm gonna read this book type, getting the answers type of shit. Although it could be, but at the end of the day, it's something much deeper, right? It's something much more profound. It's something much more personal to what the answer is. And a lot of people, if they can't wrap their mind around the actual modality of a soul, then these conversations sound pointless. But then you got to imagine 1 million people, right, being able to tap in to their soul and connect on that message. When we did a live meditation on here with about 50, 60, 70 people, that joint was lit. Now, keep expanding that as we continue to do these meditations and we continue to grow. We are tapping into something deeper within us every single day. Every day we become more spiritually aware. Every day we become more consciousness. And that's actually the goal. There's never the goal to reach a pinnacle. So when people imagine that things don't work out for them, they never do. They only work out in the context of effort and action. Action and wisdom are synonymous. There is no separation between wisdom and action. For if I didn't live it, I wouldn't necessarily be able to talk about it in this fashion. So every day I'm seeking to go a little bit deeper in dealing with the particular level of awareness. And then the downloads come. Trust me, the downloads come. And then I just more or less process it. and then organize it and then bring it to the surface. And this is what everybody can do. But you have to understand this energy as we move forward. So the Savati Nakshatra is ruled by Vayu. Vayu is the father of Hanuman. Vayu is the celestial father of Hanuman. So we're still in the Savati Nakshatra. We're still the moon. We study the moon because the moon changes every day, right? The moon creates aspects every single day, different things that we can look at, and different things that we can understand about our subconscious mind. And we want to understand our subconscious mind more than we understand our conscious mind, because our subconscious mind makes shit happens. We could be thinking about shit all the time and don't nothing happen. But once we trigger and alter and really get into our subconscious mind, we begin to program our life in a real way. Things really start to change for us. Okay, and so as we reference the moon in Libra, we're referencing the mental side, but also the deeper celestial aspects of this planet, or constellation rather, because when you look at constellations, of course, the energy falls upon ecliptic, but that ecliptic is not limited to space, because there's a up, down, left, right. And I know that sounds confusing because you think that astrology is planned out, but really astrology operates on the ecliptic, but that's not everything that's within the stars. There are other constellations and other stars for which the planets do not exactly conjunct, but they actually fall into alignment with. And if this sounds too confusing, just understand it in the sense of having a grandparent, right? Your grandparent is responsible for your life. However, if your mother is taking care of you, it might not seem as though that they're even responsible for your life. But a long time ago, if they didn't hook up with Grandpa Willie, none of this shit would be happening. So when we reference the other deeper astrological concepts and not just going over the same old Libra, balancing your relationships, etc., we begin to study it, and then we begin to expand. So when people talk to me about, well, I don't get into sidereal, I do Western, that sounds like to me, I just stay in kindergarten. I don't go to the first grade, Hood Mystic. I'm only comfortable in kindergarten. But it's like I study astrology every single day. I'm still learning astrology. And when I'm 78 years old, I'm going to speak in this fashion. And I've been studying astrology since I was 16. I'm 36. So that's 20 years of actually studying astrology, for which I'm not even acting like I'm a teacher. I don't even have to be a teacher. I'm a student. I'm a learner. I'm still trying to understand. Shit, it's like 172 constellations out there. 172 constellations, billions of stars. And all of these particular stars have a particular resonance or correspondence, if I'm even thinking on this level. If you don't think on this level, it don't mean shit. But say, for instance, it crossed your mind, Arcturus, a fixed star that's outside or aligned or is the gateway to Libra. So if I want to understand the grandparents to Libra, as opposed to the little bratty ass little 12-year-old kid, then I would get into something more deeper. So Arcturus, Vayu, Hanuman, we're talking about celestial understanding, Vedic celestial understanding tied into mythology. So these things can happen by happenstance, but I think that these things happen so we can actually remember this information by attaching it to particular stars and having the name be the star. So when people transition and then their children come into realization, they can still reference the same star that their ancestors referenced thousands and thousands of years ago, right? So that's why we even want to go to school, right? But we still have to continue to evolve our learning and not think of it as a space where we're going to get our fucking astrology degree or something like that. You know, it's just more of it's time. So if I'm 80 years old, am I gonna not be aware of the time because I'm old? No, I'm gonna still be aware of the time because time exists, or the actual celestial alignment. And that's just kind of what an astrologer does. And what I'm trying to reference now is how mythology and spirituality and then astrology are kind of synonymous, but you have to then understand how it connects to the human body. So best way for me to really break this down is through the nakshatra of Vayu, which is just air, which is a grandparent, which we don't know much about. However, he is the celestial father of Hanuman. And Hanuman, we know a lot about. Hanuman is the inner man. And so I was doing all of this research last night, family, and it was way too much information. But I realized that, you know, Panic had did a lecture some years ago. So all you got to do is either go to Occult Lectures, type Brother Panic, type Monkey King, or Brother Panic Monkey King, or Brother Panic Hanuman, and it's a 3-hour lecture already on YouTube, so you can get the full background on Hanuman. But, you know, I knew it was going to be an intro, so I kind of like fast forwarded to like 26 minutes or something like that. This is a 3-hour video. And then soon as he came on, he spoke to everything that I was studying, and he made it so simple and he made it so plain. But basically, when you reference Arcturus, because the actual name Arcturus is in the Bible, and it represents it's like a real major deal. Like, so you have Noah's Ark, you have the Ark of the Covenant, you have the Arctic Circle, you know, the golden arches and things of that nature. So even like the Freemasonry, the arch, because it's like, so that I don't know what you call it, a compass, or where you make the circles, a radial thing where you go 360 degrees with the pencil, that forms a circle. But that Freemasonry thing is like they actually pay attention to the planet Arcturus. So I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And then like it's like some real powerful secret society, heavy, deep, dark energy, this planet Arcturus, right? Hanuman. It's like the inner man. It's like, you know, what people be talking about, like the Illuminati and shit like that, you know, but it's within you, right? But you don't even understand it because everything is being force fed to you. Everything is being, like they said, like I've been seeing in the chat, it's an agenda to keep you away from the inner man, to keep you away from Hanuman. Hanuman is another version of Superman. If we want to understand anything about where they got Superman from, they got Superman from Hanuman, right? He is the perfect man, faster than a speeding bullet, you know. And it's just referencing an aspect of your soul that gets shit done, right? It represents an ancient energy that came, like what I was talking about yesterday, about going to that place where you decide whether you want to go to Earth or go somewhere else. You find this realization in Arcturus, right? And all of this stuff can be verified online. You just have to do your research. You can trust me on this or not, you know, but more or less when you transition, all of the ancestors, it starts off at the center place called Arcturus. And Arcturus is the place where souls decide whether they want to go to Earth or they want to go somewhere else. And so once you realize that your soul is going to these particular planets and has these particular resonance and can go to all of these stars, your soul can go to all of these planets, all of these galaxies, faster than the speeding bullet, faster than a goddamn locomotive, can hop over any building. Your soul is unimaginable. Your energy is unimaginable. Your energy actually is trapped within this human body. So when we reference the truth, the inner man, we're referencing Hanuman, we're referencing Superman, we're referencing the flying human, right? But in order to get to this level, he is also the God of devotion and complete surrender to that aspect of you. Is not to surrender to your weakness, surrender to your doubt, surrender to the sun and the weather. My G, you can tap into Arcturus, which is 170 times more powerful than the actual sun. 8.8 billion star systems, Dream. 8.8 billion star systems that you could go to at moment's notice whenever. But you are imprisoned by the physical body. So what you was talking about yesterday, Dreamwise, about the goddamn fasting, oh, that hit home. That resonated to the core. And fasting not for health reasons, but fasting for tapping into the soul, so I can tap into my Superman, so I can tap into what's real and not tap into this illusion. I really do hope y'all hear me when I say that. I hope y'all hear Dreamwise. I hope y'all hear D-Ray and what we be saying, because the shit that they was saying yesterday, man, that live Dream, D-Ray, that live yesterday, I couldn't, me and John had to wait. We woke up at like 5 o'clock. Like, man, we got to get our shit together. Me and John just chopping it up. Like, she said, you got to want it more than you want to eat. She said, you want it, you got to want it more than you want to eat. Man, if y'all don't go subscribe to Dreamwise channel right now, Divine Relationship Alchemy channel right now, subscribe, hit the notification bell, go ahead and unsubscribe from me. If that's how we gonna do it. If that's how we rocking. So what I'm referencing is, so say for instance, the secret society, Illuminati, they don't know shit. All that they know is that you is the one, right? So they create the illusion, they create the facade of having this sacred, secret knowledge of this particular energy, but all they know is Arcturus, right? That's all that they know, right? They know 170 times more powerful than the sun, and this energy rests within you, right? And they was like, how do you tap into this energy? And they was like, fear. And I was like, fear, all right. And this was a whole download, y'all. So y'all gonna have to go into the mental space with me, imaginative space with me one time. So I'm laying in bed and I have this particular fear. I have this particular dread. I'm a father. And when I'm sleeping, that's the only time where I can't be dad, right? I can't be dad. I can't protect the family. I'm knocked the hell out a lot of times. I sleep deeply is what I'm trying to say, right? So I have fear as I go to sleep. And maybe it's one fear, maybe it's two fears. But then I started to think about it. I was like, man, I got like thousands of fears that I could actually sit and focus on. So I began to focus on every single fear that I could imagine. Like, I just was like, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. And I just kept going and going and going and going and going. And then that created like a barrier. So it was just me. And then it was every single one of my fears that I could imagine. And it actually created a barrier around me, and I was separated from it. However, when it was just one fear or two fears, I absorbed it. I began to really thinking and really obsess about it. However, when it was thousands of fears, I couldn't actually fixate on just one. And so therefore it added some separation. And I say all of this to say, when I was studying Arcturus, it said that after so long, it starts to, once the inner hydrogen begins to wear off, it begins to create a barrier around it. It is actually called a buried corona. No lie, right? It begins to raise its energy up once its inner resources are depleted. So once our sun is going to do the same thing. Our sun is actually, before it explodes, it's not just going to explode. You know it's going to explode because it's going to grow exponentially for billions of more years. It's just going to get bigger like Arcturus. So in that space, you know, we'll get used to higher energy or more energy, but more or less what we looking at Arcturus is just the outer corona. The inside of Arcturus is already dead. It's already gone. So it's already came to grips that it's over, but yet and still life goes on externally. So there is a level of letting go of what you've previously known as a very small life, and then accepting this larger, expansive, deeper reaching, stronger desires. Not really excess, but really doing something that is extremely deep and doing things that you always wanted to do. Like you do not prepare for consciousness your whole entire life. At a certain point, you begin to embody it, you begin to live it, you begin to express it. So there is a point in time where we are absorbing energy. But we don't just simply absorb energy. We begin to live out. We begin to understand. We begin to come into the knowledge. And when we come into the knowledge, we're not just going to be brokies and dust bunnies and things of that nature. When you come into the knowledge of the herbs, you balance out your hormones. So your sexual things get in order, right? Your inner things get in order, your riches, the way you feel about yourself, the way you feel about others. You got to begin to change this through the inner things, through the herbals, through the rituals, through the magic, because that's the shit that works. Through the connection of ancestors, that's the shit that works. You think that your job is going to save you right now? Your job might be necessary to keep the lights on, but at a certain point, you got to do something when you get off of work. The most important part of the day is not 9 to 5. It is 5 to 9. What you do from 5 to 9 becomes the most important thing. And then beyond that, the witching hours. It's important to be so magical and so interested in the spiritual side of things on a personal level, not on a buy-in level, but on a personal level, because that is the reward. That is what people are trying to trick you out of, to think that there is something outside of you. And that's why a lot of spiritual shit gets propped up and put in front of you. And then it's like, holler at me for a consultation so I can give you the next level. When it's like, I'm trying to tell you the next level every fucking day, and you can actually use and enlighten yourself. You can listen to Dreamwise, people that really have your best interests at heart, that's consistent with the information and consistent with the practice. This is how I got my downloads. I got the ayah. I was fasting. And I was doing this and I was doing that. And this is how we balance and deal with our relationship. We talk about this, we do that. We support each other here. We support each other there. This is real shit. It's not make-believe fantastical shit where they talk about how they manifested each other, how me and my wife manifested each other through inner work. And it's not even, that's the sustaining and maintaining part. We could have manifested each other on some fluke stuff, but then the maintaining and sustaining a relationship has been purely spiritual, purely developmental. And this, I'm speaking this to the contrary to all y'all niggas that just know everything, right? And then y'all get so spiritual and then shit get on the news and then y'all really worried and really scared. Spiritual people is really scared and really worried. All of this shit that they've been talking about you, all this ashe and, do this and do that. And then soon as they got videos on how to protect yourself from the coronavirus spiritually, how to spiritually protect yourself, what to do about the coronavirus, this, that, and the third. And then, but it's like, yo, what happened to all that cowrie shell shit and all of that, meditation and all of that deep shit that you was on? Why you work? Like, I've been telling you that this shit is breaking down. Every day this shit is breaking down because you are waking up. And the more that you wake up, the more shakier this shit gonna be. Until you begin to empower yourself and begin to look at life from a space of no more obstacles, and two, that the victory is already yours. You already won. You already remote from work. You already working from home. You already don't gotta deal with the shit that you was dreading. You didn't want to do this shit no more. You didn't want to go to school no more, send your kids to school no more. All of this shit that you dread and you hoping that comes to an end is coming to a fucking end. China shut down, Italy shut down, America is shutting down. It's funny, we've been living like we got the coronavirus for the past 5 fucking years. So we've actually been psychically preparing for this. And it's just like, look, there is a disease happening called humanity. And there is no cure for the shit. So why would I continue to try to build and try to gather on some crackhead shit? Where we can actually build on a spiritual level. We can actually build on a magical. When 2 people look at this mountain and say disappear, that mountain has no choice but to disappear. However, humanity got you more focused in on 1 to 2 to 3 fears at a fucking time. Fuck it. Just get a whole bucket of all of the fears that you can imagine and just sit with that shit until you create a barrier between you and your fear, and let's do the work and let's do what happens, because they ain't going to just keep dropping fear bombs on this motherfucker. Like, they can't just perpetually. You can go outside right now, look outside, everything look the same. You look down the street, motherfucking car just riding up and down the street. Ain't no zombie apocalypse, but let the news and the media tell you it's coming. The verbiage of the whole situation, you don't know when you get it. It can happen anywhere. You get it from breathing. And then you might have the coronavirus, but then you don't have no effects of it. So therefore, we just gonna have to shut everything down because we don't necessarily know how to detect it. That's humanity. They shutting this shit down because of the humanity virus. You don't know how to fix that shit. And then when you look at it, it's like they call it coronavirus because it got spikes on it. And I'm like, damn, they really created a virus with spikes so it could just get inside of people and just tear their insides up. And then have it be magnetically charged for the respiratory system in the lungs. Interesting shit. But beyond that, you know, they couldn't create a drug strong enough to take you down. However, as we deal with this primal power, as we deal with this energetic power, and we deal with the correction and, you know, balancing of Ma'at, and people tend to fall or people tend to have casualties, this is something that we have to realize that a lot of it is just meat suits. And then like the meat suits being torn down and the soul coming to realization is actually a good thing, not a sad thing. So even when we look at life, we don't want to look at life in a space of reincarnation. We want to look at it as a space of soul controllers. And the way that we master this is through our dreams. Dreams prepare us for death. However, when we are not lucid dreaming and we're not understanding how to actually die, we don't understand the purpose of life. The purpose is to understand this soul and begin to gain control of this soul, because I tell you what, this meat suit ain't gonna last forever, no matter how vegan your ass is, no matter how much your ass meditate, no matter how much your ass exercise. Guess what's gonna happen at a particular time? This meat suit is going to transpire, expire, be done with, and your soul is gonna live on. And the shit that's happening in your dreams, I don't know what's happening in my dreams. My dreams so random. That's what's going to happen when you transition. It's just going to be this random occurrence, and hear your ass come back again like a little baby. Wah, wah, wah. Shitting on yourself, pissing on yourself once again. So the shit that we're referencing of setting intentions, monitoring your dreams, understanding your pH balance, sleeping with a bowl of water under your bed. If you got sleeping on the air mattress, shit, pour some water on the floor.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning.
385-799-9560. Get tapped in with the Hood Mystic ASAP, man. Yeah. That's all that needs to be said on that. Oh man, I'm so dead right now. Oh man, so today we seek to find the deeper, further abstract truth. So abstract truth is whatever you determine it to be. It can be whatever you want it to be, you know, but be abstract. Don't be really direct. Figure out the vibes for today, right? Understand that wisdom and action don't really exist in the same space. If wisdom had you in a passive state, it is not wisdom, it is fantasy. However, if wisdom has you in a perpetual active state where you are using your hands, body, mind, words towards something that is actual and factual, like you're progressing in some form or fashion, then you're taking the abstract and making it real. So if you want to focus on a fear, doubt, or insecurity, be sure to think about a million things and create a barrier from it. Because if you, one fear, two fears, when they hit real close to home, they can really, really disturb you. But a million things, it begins to, you see the illusion behind it. Okay. So it's like, don't take one thing and magnify it. Take a million things and then try to magnify that. And then beyond that, you create one of the most powerful barriers between you and your fears. And you can really tap into some deeper things. But it's hard to tap in when you have fears and negative shit circulating through your mind and your being. Even pain. Like the pain, one thing, like, you ever seen that movie Major Pain, and something like he's hurting and then like he's like, oh, I got shot or something, and Major Pain broke his finger, and he's like, my finger. Is like, now you ain't thinking about being shot. So it's just more or less of stop focusing and magnifying one thing and make everything be that thing that you really dread, and overdo it. If you overdo it, you'll create a barrier. I know it sounds weird and it might sound difficult, but it's really super simple, especially if you laying down to sleep and it's particular worries or particular fears, especially for the men. Men don't ever want to say they scared, but when you going to sleep, sometimes you do be a little scared because you're a little powerless to protect, and maybe you might oversleep. It's just a lot of things you could possibly think about, throwing you out of your dreams, throwing you out of your meditation. However, I'm not going to hammer home the point. 385-799-9560. Get tapped in one time. Lovely, lovely day. Yesterday we ended really early because John decided like it was over, so he disconnected the rotor and modem, and it was just hell trying to get it reconnected. So I was just like, okay, I get you, John. I see what you're trying to do. So, you know, hopefully today we can have a better stream of consciousness. Don't be scared. 385-799-9560. All right, cool dream. Yeah. Little sprinkle on that water. Y'all didn't know what time it is. I'm gonna play my intro one more time because I was working like for 4 hours on this little shit.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning.
Call in now. What's the deal, family? We just waiting for a Dream Wise to call in. That nigga got a rotary dial phone, so you know how that be. Yeah, we gotta put ourselves out there, Asha. Like, you know, I putting yourself out there with no real results is kind of the formula, because a lot of people never see that point where you putting stuff out and you not getting the attention. However, when you do get the attention, people just act like it always been that way, but you just doing it for you,
provided by
doing it for the love.
freeconferencecall.com. There is one other participant in the conference. Please announce yourself.
510, you tapped in with the Hood Mystic. What's going on?
Hey, this is Laverne and Callie.
Give me 1 second, Laverne.
I had no intention of calling you. I mean, I had no intention of being on the show. It's 5 a.m. I was asleep. And then it was like, it just like drifted in on this cloud 5 minutes before the show came on. And that was the second time that this energy came into my dream. It was like the continuation of the dream.
Mm-hmm.
This is because I wasn't tapped in yesterday. I didn't know that Weinstein got 23 years. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just found out about it yesterday afternoon. I just was sharing that today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, everything is shut down out of here. All my regular spots,
Mm-hmm.
They're all shut down. I've been saving up on water and food for a few months, and but now it's like, you're right. We've been wanting to stop this merry-go-round, and now that it's stopping, it's like, what, now what we gonna do?
Right. And it's really found with like love. First, interpersonal love, and then beyond that, connection and resonance, because it's not a point of time where you can actually isolate yourself, and that's not very wise, and if you're isolating yourself unto yourself, that's another form of isolation, deeper. So we don't necessarily know how it can manifest, but we do know it can manifest when we begin to operate on a different frequency, as opposed to just perpetuating fear and multiple fears or singular fears, and having kind of like a loop of fears and insecurities and things of that nature, so much so that we think that that's the only record that we can play.
Well, yeah, that's really true. The more you tap into the media, the more afraid you're going to be, because like, I have not been tapped in, so I haven't been afraid at all.
Right.
Beautiful. I've been carrying around my water, alcohol, and Florida water.
Yeah.
And spraying everything. But I haven't been listening to the news. But I noticed, like, my family has been calling me, my family who's not conscious, and they're listening to the news. They're hibernating.
Right.
And telling, against the virus. Like, you can, like, just close your door.
Right. But if you do the actual studies, like, it's only a certain subset of a population that is affecting, and the numbers of people that is actually affected, like, more people die from heart disease and influenza than this, and we're not even protecting ourselves from that. We don't do nothing to protect
Well,
ourselves
yeah,
from
see,
influenza.
yeah, that's the agenda. That's the agenda. That's the cognitive dissonance. You're not supposed to connect the dots.
Right.
You're
Right.
supposed to just go on what the people with the money tell you to do.
Right.
And they tell you to be afraid. And then they're going to tell you to go to the Walmart.
Hmm.
And then you're not going to see you no more.
Right. 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 And it's to the point where I don't it's like I'm at a point where I'm very like okay with it. If that's the thing that people choose to do, because if you do your due diligence and you try to get the word out and people look at you like you crazy, then that's kind of the peace that you got to have within yourself, that and not to say that everybody should listen to me. That's the thing, like certain people have their own ways of doing life and their own path, and I'm perfectly okay with that. However, there is a solution if you are seeking a solution, and we can begin to formulate that solution through cultivation of our soul. And I just truly believe that, so that's kind of what gives me my conviction day in and day out.
Well, and it is the advantages is springtime. Everybody can plant something.
Exactly.
Plant a tomato,
Beautiful.
and then do something. Hook up with who's got these urban gardens.
Right.
And since you don't have to go to work,
Right.
go to the urban garden.
Right. Figure out how you're gonna do your shit. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, really get to it.
Mhm.
We're talking about. Really do it now. It's
Yeah.
like you have that advantage. It's like the spiritual, the mental, the physical is all becoming one thing again. It's like, wow.
Right.
It's like what we've been saying we wanted to happen.
Right.
The thing that I'm concerned about is
Sure.
what you said about the random dreams.
Mhm.
I really have to get more into my journaling because
Yeah.
I remember how I came to this planet this time. I remember what
Mhm.
happened before I came here.
Beautiful.
And it was not because I wasn't doing the work.
You were doing the
But
work.
the advantage, I must have been doing enough work that I remember I wasn't doing
You were
work.
definitely doing the work, right? If you can remember that. And it's just
Yeah.
everything that I was talking about yesterday. Make sure if you get a little time, or you working out or taking a walk or something, just listen to the talk portion of what I talked about yesterday, because that ties in beautifully to what you just said. Because that's like everything that you just said was my message. Like if I could have said it that eloquently, the video would have been like 60 seconds long yesterday. You know what I'm saying? You nailed it. You was doing the work in a previous lifetime that got you to this point. And now you're here. It's time to continue that work because you can. And it's a lot of things that you can do because you're sovereign. You're sovereign to your soul. And because you're sovereign to your soul, you're sovereign to these human beings, no matter what type of title or regulation or whatever they put down. They can only control the people that will attempt to control other people through particular fear, and it's just not even founded on evidence or facts. And it's crazy. It's just founded on sensationalism and propaganda. So at that point, you realize, okay, what's deeper here? And if you try to get to that point, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm over this realm,
Mm-hmm.
but it's what you said about, not having your plans laid out for the next round.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm over
the
this,
plans out, but you do have the plans. Everything is according to plan. Let's just start there.
okay.
Let's start there and end there, because if you imagine that you do not have the plan, then you are imagining that you know more than your soul.
But you said that if you having just the random dreams and you're gonna come back, and I really don't want to come back here because I'm over with this.
And it's not like a thing.
But then
it's not over. We can still, and I'm still trying to gain control of my dreams. I'm right with you. I'm not talking about like a point of time of me achieving or accomplishing something. I'm trying to get to the point where my dreams are in the palm of my hand. I'm not there yet. that's what I speak to. If I was there, I would be giving classes or doing lectures specifically about that. But more or less, I'm actually in the journey of manipulating or lucid dreaming. Like every night is a practice of it. Some nights I do great. Some nights it's just, why am I dreaming about eating a taco? Like, it's just stupid. Or, dreaming about the same recurring dreams and things of that nature. Like, it's not down to a science, but hopefully with this work and through these conversations and dealing with people such as yourself, you can begin to help me and help you and just get to a point where we can understand our dreams and get to that point. That's really the work. That's really the goal.
Okay. Is it okay? Right now, this way I'm seeing it. Okay, so the next when I check out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to go. I want the ancestors to have this big party for me, this big surprise party, and have everything all laid out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, it looks like I have to right now start planning my next move, my next destination. So
But
maybe,
you just said that the ancestors had it all planned for you, and it's already, so obviously that's already going to happen. It's already planned. A lot of it is more or less of tapping into something that's more aware than our conscious mind, because when we try to wrap our conscious mind around this thing, that's what we call like ego poisoning or distortion. We try to move it and switch it and contort it to a narrative that we understand. So the most important thing is to be present in the moment, even when we are sleeping, because when we are present and in the moment when we are sleeping, that is what is called lucid. And once we are lucid, we are aware of the thing that can actually set up the birthday party. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, because no, what I'm saying, I'm hearing you, because if you're if the more you're aware of the present,
Mm-hmm.
the be here now, the ever now,
Mm-hmm.
the more that you're able to explore it and see the different directions.
Mm-hmm.
The party's over here, the party's over there.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have it your way. So you could still you can have it your way. So I guess it's going to be the ancestors giving me the big birthday bash, the welcome home birthday bash,
Mm-hmm.
plus me inventing my own way all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's just going to be the key to just open up to what's really going on.
Mm-hmm. But
And
you
then
want to
it's gonna
start to
be,
prepare for that now, though. Every
Right.
time you go to sleep is a particular party, but then it's an actual creating and cultivating and understanding that it's always your own way. It was never a point in time where it wasn't your own way. And that's really the idea, where we imagine this lack of control is just more or less a lack of awareness and a lack of this present power that we all have in this moment. And so we are always in this moment, even when we're sleeping. Sometimes we just forget. So really it's like remembering and then recalling and just really practicing this process of like dreaming and journaling and being repetitious about it, because it's like any muscle. If you do it for 3 years, you'll be really proficient at it. But if you do it for 3 days, you think that it's not a thing. You would never imagine that you could be a bodybuilder. If you just worked out for 3 days, you would just think that it's completely unrealistic. However, it's amazing how much we could adapt and how much we could change when we develop the actual desire or want or need to understand our dreams. So when I say understand your dreams, it's because you're understanding how you're going to die every single night. Every single night you die, basically. And we call it sleep, but it's actually a simulation of death. It's actually a training of death, because of a large majority of our existence is spent on the non-physical realm. Not even in this life. When we transition, it will be in a non-physical state, and deciding whether we want to become a physical body or continue to be non-physical is our actual birthright. However, we do not realize that we are non-physical entities, and we continue to deal with this physical reality as the only reality. So when it comes to understanding this process, it has to be from a non-physical point of view.
That's exactly it. So what it is like, okay, so what yesterday I was on a 7.5 hour Bobby Hemmett. I can't remember the name of the video. It was on the Patreon. And so I was with him all day while I was with my earbuds while I was doing what I needed to do, you know. And so what he was saying is that the reality is like we are, everything that we've seen is part of our waking dream. All the movies, all the conversations, everything. So what the reality is that we're not this body. We are a speck, a little atom, and the pineal. And then he says, so the most important thing we can do is the gallon of water today. He was talking about drinking 3 gallons of water a day. He says once he did that, he had transited time and space, where he could go to any time of his life. He actually went back, I think, 15 years, and he was actually there. And I understand that because sometimes when you can really go back, you can smell. You can actually smell and feel. And you can actually smell, so you've actually gone back. And then he was saying, like, the water, we're a computer that runs on water. So if you're drinking that gallon, and he said 3 gallons. He was drinking 3 gallons for a few days or a few weeks or whatever it was. And then that will wash off the crust off that pineal gland. And then you are you're in operation mode. Where you can go and you're just in it.
And I was also on that vibration, and what I've realized is that we could do that at a much deeper level with cell hydration, and thinking of not just water, but what kind of water, and really doing a real doozy on our inner system, like alkaline water with a high pH balance, or lemon type water actually helps us get that accomplished too. And it might not be 3 gallons, it might be like 1.5 gallons or 2 gallons if the water is high alkaline, because that video is practically like probably 10-15 years old by now, maybe even older, right? So the things that were available to Bobby at that time it was very limited. Now we have a lot of invention and a lot of technology that can actually, and a lot of research, actually, a lot of things that are coming into the thing where Bobby Hemmett would say things, and we can actually now prove it through research too. So that's why I like listening to Bobby, and then doing like now studies and seeing like recent research and things of that nature. And a lot of things he says is just like pinpoint accurate, but the cell hydration is another level of that. What Bobby Hemmett was talking about, because you could drink 3 gallons of water and none of it hit your cells, because your cells require a certain alkalinity, because like the water to your cells, it has to be pure. Like it doesn't even accept water that that's why like drinking tap water can kill you. You would never have a level of hydration drinking tap water, because it's so nasty that it shouldn't even be classified as such. So now if we really think about it and really like put effort and mental to what type of water you choose, you will really receive spiritual benefits as well, because it's hitting you at the cell level. They even have it like at Kroger's or the grocery stores here, where it's like cell hydration water now. So, but pH balance, they got the smart water pH balance. You'll see it. I don't know
which one. I haven't seen. I've seen everything but the cell hydration, or maybe is it in the small print, or which one is
it's
cell
like
hydration?
I've seen it at a Kroger's, so I don't know if it's any Kroger's in California, but it's like It's like in a bag. It's not even in a bottle. Yeah, it's like in a bag, and they have like 7-day. They sell it like they'll sell you one for like 3, but then they'll sell it like in 7-day boxes. But Google it online, you might can get some sent to you. I know it's on Amazon for a fact. Just type Cell hydration water, and it's like in a bag. You can't miss it.
Okay, I have to definitely look. And I know when I get close to that gallon a day, I can. It is a big difference. It's a big difference in everything.
And everything feels a little bit better, because you got to also think about the body. The body is 70% water. So it's just more or less like gasoline to us. It's actually the thing that helps us function and actually think clearly. But then there's some people that really are disgusted by the thought of just drinking water. So it's just to let you know the type of mentalities that exist in this world and why things can be so difficult for people.
Well, I mean, I hear you. I hear you. I know a man, he's like, he's stage 5 cancer, and he's still stuck on, not wanting to give up his habits. So It's like, you can learn from anybody to see how they're operating, and it's a lesson. If you don't go into the judgment, if you just observe, then you can see what the lesson is for you. I said, well, why is this man standing in front of me with stage 5 and he's not making no changes? And it's for me to learn, to learn from him and to learn about myself, and where am I not wanting to make changes, and that kind of thing. So, but then even he said that water can even cure that.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. He said it can cure anything. So it's interesting to see, test it out.
And what I do on my water bottles, I'm just reading the chat. I like if I need money, I'll write on there. Money, whatever I write, like I can write all types of stuff on my water bottle. I'll just mark that whole thing up like the gallon of water that I'm gonna drink throughout the day, and then like if you got any Whole Foods, they got actual alkaline water that you can get, but the word is hydrogen water. Sunyata help me. It's not Cell hydration water, it's actual called hydrogen water. I just forgot the name of it, but you can order that online. They got it online, but it's really healthy. It's like I really can tell the difference between like water that's good and then water that's not, and then actually having a process of refining your water could be healthy, or filtering your water could be healthy. But just really learning about water and then drinking it and taking water is probably one of the best things we can do as a human being. Even having this conversation about water is actually a healthy conversation, because it brings awareness to people where people might do everything that they need to do besides drink that water, and then be in a particular point where they really dehydrated and can't figure out what the hell is going on.
And that's exactly right. Okay, well, listen, it was beautiful speaking with you. I had no plans of being on this call. I had no plans on being on this program.
Thank you for calling, though. It was such a wonderful and beautiful exchange.
It definitely was a wonderful, beautiful exchange. I have several names: Laverne, Niranjani. We had talked last week.
Sure.
And once again, I had, it just says, "Oh, give them." It was like I was sleeping so good. It says, Hood, they're getting ready to come on.
He got you up at 5 in Cali. Now I
it
know
got me up at
that is
it's 5 o'clock
interesting. That is interesting. So, most people in Cali be like, man, you be going on too early, man. I be wanting to catch you, but man, you be going on too early. I be sleep. So, that's also a beautiful thing. California is something that I think about every day. Just had a beautiful conversation with my friend Lauren out in California. This is one of those states that's like holds a huge resonance for me. So I probably woke you up by mistake. I'm sorry. I apologize.
On the astro plane. On the astro plane.
On the astro, kicking you on the plane. Wake up.
Don't apologize. That's a good one. Okay. Okay, and have a beautiful day.
You too.
When is your you got a baby coming,
I
right?
do. July
Oh,
25th.
it's almost, it's not too far.
Nah, not too far. We're just putting in the work right now. Every day we get a little closer. So it's always one of those things as a dad where my anxiety raises up just a little
So you have
bit.
all boys?
All boys.
Is this one gonna be a boy too?
We not gonna talk about that right now because my
Okay.
wife's on the lot. My wife's on the chat, and we not about to do that right now. We going
Okay, so you
keep the
have three
vibes
boys, right?
high. We got 3 boys.
You have
Yeah.
okay.
We
Well,
got 3 boys.
congratulations.
Thank you so much, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you for calling in, Laverne, and I really appreciate our build. So be sure to call in the
Okay
future.
then.
Okay.
Okay, have a good day.
You too. Have a good day. Peace. 713. You
July
already know what it
23rd.
is. 823 guy in the
July,
building.
July 23rd, man. I'm calling it.
What's happening July 23rd?
Your newborn king or queen coming to the
Oh,
queen.
okay. You already
July
put that. You already
23rd.
set that in stone. That's a good.
Amen.
That's a good number because I got my brother was born on the 22nd and my first cousin was born on the 27th. So, I'm right in between there. We need a 23rd. That'd be dope.
Yeah, that cuss of all these little Virgo signs is how you break out of it. For real. Yeah, Laverne just dropped some stuff on water, and she got my mind thinking about the water shit.
You was talking about
I
the water
forgot what I
yesterday.
look. Yeah, no, but yeah, and then it's crazy. The city acting like they losing water, but I'm like, dang, my water tree, we got plenty of water. Shit, there's nothing but water around here, so it's going down. But what I wanted to dive into with you, Hood, and that was
Sure.
a powerful build that you did with the whole coronavirus thing, this thing that's happening right now. Maybe we got to start looking at this thing just the way you looking at it in a different light. Maybe we got to start actually understanding that this is a event from the spirit realm, right? Things have to be destroyed. Now, I'm not going to get too far off in this thing. It don't matter what race you are. I don't care what race you are, white, black, whatever. If you have that neuromelanin, you gonna make it. So don't worry about it. If the study is true about what they saying, like the coronavirus doesn't affect blah 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 melanated people,
Right.
hey man, if you got it, you got it. You the chosen one. You about to make it on this thing. Now, is that even a good thing? Do you want to be, still here stuck in this realm? Like, oh man, everybody gone, but me.
Right.
Damn. So we got to start looking at this thing in a vacuum, because what might be happening is the thing Bobby always talked about: destroying the world, ending the world. And once we get onto this path of doing that and getting back to our true state of mind, our true adventure or journey, now we're able to go on to different paths, like you were saying. 8.8 billion stars out there. I was reading that article. I was like, wow, star system, different systems. So that means every person on this earth can go to their own little
star system. It's 8.8 billion people on the earth, probably too.
Right.
You see the connection?
Hey, man, yeah, we got to go for what we know, family, because this thing is multi-layered. This thing is never ending. It's a vacuum of things. Shit, I know this thing is about me. I can say that confidently. Hey, man, forget it. It's about me. That's what you're supposed to do in your mind. You have to say the same thing in your mind, family. Everybody has to say, all right, this realm of reality is about me. So in your mind, you have to actually think that the whole world is in illusion of you. Now, you still notice other beings and everything like that, but they're all lining up to your story. You know what I'm saying? Because you have the vantage point. Your vantage point is showing you your realm and reality.
And I do you one better. I do you one better. Your soul is talking to you right now like me and you is talking. And if you are able to listen to that, bro, it's going to give you them downloads.
Facts. So when you having all these channels, these downloads, these understandings, these knowings, and you start seeing things line up, and you start contemplating, look, my teacher, it was my mama's birthday yesterday. Two things happened. The 23, with the Weinstein, he getting them 23 years, and then the NBA stops. Mm-hmm. If that ain't 823 God all the way around, 100%. I don't know what is.
I can't tell you no other way.
And
when have you ever heard of that ever happening?
Exactly. So now, in my existence, in my realm and reality, from my vantage point, this is all lining up with me. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to walk into these energies and line them up with you. So everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own adventure on this thing that they need to project out to the world. You know what I'm saying? This 823 thing is real and in full effect. I've just been doing the work to where this thing is actually coming on effect. So now you see this coronavirus, 23 Weinstein thing, and all this other stuff. I need to write a book on it because this thing is a movie. It's a big story. And the story is going to end with us on top. Let's say that.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you some shit, bro. Can I share something with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I went to Walgreens the other day, and I'm walking out of Walgreens, and something say to me, "Escape from LA." Not the old school one, the one with Kurt Russell. I'm walking out of Walgreens like, what in the fuck? And so I go home and I just instantly just sit down and watch the movie. Man, look, they on August 23rd, 2000.
You lying, dog. Don't play with me like that. Don't play with me, dude. I ain't gonna even play with you, Will, right now.
Snake Plissken is injected with a virus. And then,
what's
bro,
the movie called?
It's called Escape from LA. And then, bro, Kurt Russell is walking in a fucking football arena. Ain't nobody in the stands, and niggas is just sitting on the field with guns. And then he walk into a basketball court.
I'm not gonna even play with you, man. I'm not gonna even watch the movie.
No.
I don't even believe it. I'm not gonna even play with you, Hood. I'm not gonna do it.
Bro,
I'm not gonna even watch the movie.
The movie came out in 1996.
Shut up, man. See, you funny, dog. You funny, man. I'm not gonna play with you, Hood.
Bro,
that's why don't say. Y'all need to stop listening in the hood. This is dangerous. You listen to Hood, you about to be fucked up. This nigga giving me too much jewels, too much information to propel my realm of reality into a whole nother thing. I don't need to see that because my mind gonna be blown.
It's going to tear you. It's going, and everything you said in the world. Guess what Snake do at the end of the movie? You don't even gotta guess. He end the world, and you gonna have to watch it to see the code. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm gonna just tell you one thing. He go to play basketball, right? Out of nowhere, he just start playing basketball and just he start hooping. He doing all types of shit. And then at the All-Star game, they were shooting them half court shots and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's what that nigga was doing. They like you ain't never seen that shit in the NBA to this year, right? I ain't never seen niggas just pulling up from wherever.
I never seen that until right.
So
wow, Hood,
bro,
Hood, this is a big deal. Hood, this
it's
is
crazy.
Big. This is huge. Look, family, y'all getting this right now in real time. We can't make this up.
Right.
You think we making, like, there's no way we can make this up. That's why I'm telling you this 8th chakra, the soul star, and tapping into that dot, the subconscious mind, the back of this thing is going to open you up. You in the realm of the real.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what's
happening.
We're going back to the realm of the real because this is the illusionary world. So the open your eye, 2020, we always talked about it. It's happening. It's here. Wait until this new year hit. Man, see, you should not even told me that movie. Now that's a whole nother thing we got to build on, Hood.
Bro, that's why when you called in and just broke down the whole movie, and I'm just like, this is a perfect time to really share this, because I was just waiting on the time. Like I was like, how am I supposed to do this? Because it's not even like a truth is stranger than fiction. It's just like a movie, you know, like it's a decode, it's Escape from LA. And you know, the Battle of Los Angeles was about Pearl Harbor and like the first time America was ever attacked, and the reason why they actually let that happen was so Americans could be so okay with fear that it was okay to just start World War II. But Pearl Harbor started, but that's the battle for Los Angeles. The escape from Los Angeles is goddamn Kobe channeling through that goddamn movie. August 23rd, 2000. I'm like, why? Well, I was like, I called my wife upstairs, like, just read that shit for me to make sure I'm just not motherfucking going crazy right now, because right now my mind is blown. And it could have been August 10th. It could have been January 14th. You know what I'm saying? It could be any fucking day.
There's no coincidences.
Hell no.
This thing is, wow, that's magic. See, that's magic. Wow, yeah. See, we got a man.
Yeah.
Son, you talk about stunned and shocked. That's what this thing is. We about to end the world. We've been saying it. And ending this illusion, changing. Okay, well, here it is. You feel me?
Bro was in a helicopter. He was in a helicopter dream.
Oh, shut up, man.
He was in a black helicopter dream. The helicopter got shot down dream. But guess what? Snake did the whole evacuation, the ejection thing. Kobe ejected himself out that shit. He's somewhere looking at this shit like, man.
And then, see, that's what we got to look at. We got to look at these directors, too, and these writers of these movies, because, you know, they're pulling from this energy and this spirit realm that's coming down. Like, people, you know, when we think about this agenda, okay, what about the other side of the box, the other side of the coin? Sister Myra said this a long time. She said, it don't matter what the you know, the elite or whatever you want to call them is doing.
Right.
What is the spirit world? The spirit world still has control of this thing. So they're just behind by the spirit realm, putting this thing into place so this thing can end up being destroyed.
Right.
Man, it's going down, man.
It is.
Now I got to watch that movie. It's powerful times, man. Powerful, powerful times. I suggest everybody get into the 823 guide meditation. I'm telling you, invoke this Mamba mentality. We can't make this up. That is too much.
Nah, his name could have been George. His name could have been, you know, all types of stuff. His nigga name was Snake. I said, okay, Snake. I said, all right. Black Mamba wore black the whole movie. If he wore another color, strike me down right now. He wore black that whole movie. So literally you got the Black Mamba. And if he wasn't walking through an empty stadium, bro, nobody in the stands. I was like, what the fuck?
They just cut man. And then, you know, how is this thing going to stop, Hood? Let's think about that. Let's say, how is this coronavirus thing going to stop?
Right.
It's not going to stop.
It's like saying, how you going to stop the common cold?
exactly. So now what? You know,
Right.
see they can't even come on and say, okay, everybody's fine now. We did it. We did something. Only thing that's gonna happen, that could happen, is they say like, hey, I got to take these vaccines, man. You see what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
something. They're gonna
Yes.
be like, hey, everybody gotta be vaccinated
Yeah.
up in this thing.
Yeah. That's
If
the
they
next step.
keep with the storyline.
That's
Yeah,
the
I
next
don't know
step.
how else. And none of my kids ever had no vaccine, so they
Right.
got me fucked up.
Right. If you come back, you gonna have to, cause they gonna shut everything down and then be like, you can come back, but you just need to get vaccinated, and that's gonna be the whole hustle. Cause the vaccination is the virus, so they create the virus already with the cure, already with the vaccine in play. So, you know, we talked about that on my last episode. We can Google the patent office and show people the virus that was made in 2006 and the vaccination subsequently. So they know this. They can fix it, and they gonna have like, all right, now you got to take this vaccine. It's like, well, black people can't get it, kids can't get it.
Yeah.
Take it anyway. Same way probably with polio and all of that other shit that they be giving kids. Like, you probably couldn't get that shit no way, but they gonna give it to you.
That's dope. I'm definitely about to go talk to Kobe now for sure.
Yeah.
And be like, hey man, let me know what's going on.
Yeah,
You
definitely. Definitely.
That's when you get if you get into these channels with Kobe, and man, he's gonna let you know, hey man, I'm about to do something. I'm about to get confirmation from his ass, because that movie is crazy that you just brought that up.
Right.
And this thing is written. We telling you what it is, and there's nobody can't deny it. You know what I'm saying? We're not making this up. We just showing you what it is.
And when was the last time you ever heard of the NBA just not playing no games because of a disease? And all of this shit all of this shit existed. It all existed. Billions.
Millions of dollars losing.
Gone.
Yeah, billions of dollars.
Gone.
Look, the rodeo, they shutting down South by Southwest. They shutting down the rodeo.
Wow.
They shutting down all of this stuff. I heard from what I've been hearing. Yeah, man, it's going down. So, you know, embrace it. You know, don't fear, no fear. Because, look, if you fear, then you already subject to the idea. You're not in this. You're not part of that. You're not human. You're a God. You're a chaos being. So
you're
this
a creator.
doesn't have anything to do with you. Right. You're the ultimate observer. So all you got to do is sit back with your popcorn and watch the show go on as everybody crumble beneath you, and stay in your meditation, stay drinking water, like I said, and make your truth reign supreme.
Like the bubonic plague, 1/3 of the population died, 2/3 of the population lived. Damn, that's really crazy. That's really unfortunate that you transition. Good thing for your soul though, you know, your body, you know, live on and all of that. Like, you just gotta create a narrative around it to just be like, okay, if they making that choice and if people want to buy into it, go ahead, because it's not like we not out here presenting alternate information that will actually help people, but they either some people that's just going to look at it like whatever. And because of that,
man, go watch these Bobby videos. Bobby been saying this for the longest. Now we looking up, and this is like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're here now.
Right.
You know, and there's no such thing. See, we equating this time like the Bobby videos 20, 30 years ago, whatever, right? Now we're thinking that's a long time, but that's not even a eyelash blink in the eye. That's not
in the spiritual realm.
Minuscule. It's not even nothing. It's like so Bobby was right in alignment with what's going on. You know,
and I'll say, like, when you listen to it, it's exactly what you need to hear at that particular time, right?
Right. Yeah. You can dive into that. Bobby was just ahead of his time. I'll say that. He was way ahead of his time. But it was right on time because it had to happen so people can start waking up and walking into this knowing thyself and the spirituality, which is the real, true world. So you won't be caught into a loophole of fear and be coming down here because you still got something to accomplish. You know, you still got something to prove on this earth realm. Or you just don't know yourself from, you know, the hole in the wall. You just in the astral like, oh, okay, I guess this earth thing looks good again.
Right, and you don't want that to happen. But I remember when you was talking. I remember when you was talking about when this Kobe thing first had happened, and you was saying something like to the effect of how you had stopped like even watching basketball or stopped caring about it because you was like, you know, fuck that shit or whatever. And then like the Kobe shit happened and it kind of renewed your interest. But I think more or less that initial feeling is more or less to how Kobe felt about this shit. Like, we destroying all of this shit and getting down to the real shit. And this is what's happening from a spiritual point of view. And it's just to the fact that some people ain't going to be able to take it because they really attached to this shit. Like the basketball games and the schools and, you know, the South by Southwest and all of that. Some people really feel like this earthly realm is the true salvation or kicking it or having fun. But I think all of this community shit and all of this like caring about one another, I think that's some real shit that needs to happen. But since the favorable conditions wasn't going to spark it, how about some negative conditions, and maybe that'll spark the community, you know what I'm saying? So I just think like that original idea, when you talking, I just always remember you saying that.
Yeah, man, we in alignment of this whole thing, man. Basketball, sports, that's your mind, you know, enjoy yourself down here in this realm. Of course, you want to be entertained, you want to enjoy stuff, you know, do that. But then at the end of the day, kind of understand, put everything in perspective, and then still dive back into the real world, which is yourself, which is the inside track to this thing is going within. Going within and doing getting into your spirituality, talking to your ancestors and getting the knowing, the gnosis, so you can be in the know. So if anything happens, you know, you be already spiritually prepared, spiritually protected. So your adventure is, you know, just that. It was just that.
You can adventure. Focus on it.
You won't be hurt by your adventure. You see what I'm saying? You won't be hurt that, I never got, you know, a mansion or whatever. I never was, you know what I'm saying? You'll just be like, oh, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah, and that's really the goal where I'm at. Like, it's not even an existential goal, but I think that helps me with this energy. Like, you know, I'm already disconnected, so you shut this shit down, I feel like it's working in my favor because I wasn't fucking with this shit no way.
Exactly. Facts, man. Yeah, but man, I'm
watch that movie with me, man. I'm gonna watch that. If you watch that movie, shoot me a text afterwards, and let's see if we can build on it somehow, some way.
All right, that's a bet.
All right, bro.
Bet. Say the name of it again.
Escape from LA.
Escape from LA.
With Kurt Russell.
Peace to the family.
Peace to the family, man. Peace to you and yours too. Shout out to D-Ray.
All right, peace.
Peace, bro. 817, you tapped in with the Hood Mystic. Who might I be speaking with?
Wagwan.
What's going
my brother.
Oh, man. What's going on, man?
Just, hey, I ain't even trying to transition that energy that you just came off of. I just got exactly what I needed from that phone call. I just called to send you some love, brother.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
Bobby
bro.
who? Bobby Videos just said, who is Bobby?
Bobby Hemmett.
Bobby Hemmett. That's what you already told me about. You see how that go? Look, brother, I'm already out the door. I'm in through the window and out through the back door. You hear me?
All right.
I'm gonna get back with you. I got exactly what I needed from brother, whoever that was. The
Dream wise. Yeah. That's how it be. subscribe to his channel
I
too.
appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I'm gonna check him out already. See how that work, man.
Yeah, do.
What you do for them inflamed? What you do for that inflamed pineal gland? Fool? I'm one step away from this Excedrin, but it led me to calling in and hollering at you. You know what I mean?
Oh, that water. Water.
What I need, huh?
Man, look. Your whole body got to be a whole goddamn fish tank out here. Be like, damn, I got to piss all day.
Yeah, that's what it is.
All day. Bladder always
That's what it
expanding.
is.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't no thing. It's just, it ain't, once you become a water being, you in outside of space and time, you out of this world, you know, you underwater, you in space, you whatever you want to be, you know, without that water, you know, you fixated, you like a dry, dribbled up tree, you know, you can't do too much, you know, so all pineal gland, long as they ain't take it out of you, if it's in you, it's working. You just got to kind of make sure that it's operating at an optimal level. So you got to oil up that body, that coconut water.
That's what that is. That's what that is, bro. That's what I need. Like I say, just for the minute, just touch base, like we say, to establish the connection with the frequency. Then I'll be out the door, fool.
As men, that's vital, bro. Because going into this area and going into this age, if we ain't talking every day, it's a problem. If I ain't talking one, if I gotta talk to at least one man a day, you know what I'm saying? Like, just to be balanced, you know what I'm saying? So it's just more or less tap in, check in. Let me know you straight.
1,000. You know, we dropped it like flies out here.
Bruh, I need to know that the men's in the world is straight. I seen some shit where these witches did a whole coronavirus spell that all black men get struck down with the coronavirus. I said, what?
That's crazy.
I say, okay, that's how we playing out here. I just want to know.
Bro, and then they don't even want to join us. They still trying to beat us.
Yeah, some, but you know, it's more or less of us coming together as a united front.
That's the joining part, right? The conjoining of the.
Yeah,
we got to come. Like you said, we got to come together about it. Look, it's the whole thing that I was telling you about that last conversation we had was where it go from hate to I gotta destroy them.
Right.
We had talked about that.
Right.
And this is exactly my same mode that I feel like that'll turn me into what you talking about by being out of tune from this shit anyway. Not really even worrying about nothing that's going on out there. And see your chick, you know, you know, I call them Sheilas, but I got queens. You feel me? Because we don't call them bitches, man. Y'all gonna change up the verbiage, man. Y'all gotta deprogram and reprogram. That's what I'll be working on. Every time I come around, I try to come with some new lingo to just sauce their brain up.
I'm saying, when you meet your wife, you can never even think of calling her that word. It's like a thing. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's like you don't even, like, I never even thought of my wife as like a bitch. Like, I just never even, she never even carried that frequency of any, like, it was just always loving and nurturing. And that's how I knew that was my wife, because that bitch attitude didn't even exist in the frequency. And you know, it's always there to a certain extent sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But generally when the energy is right, that shit either go away. Maybe she be mean to other people, but she's super sweet to you. But you know, it's just one of those things, like when you reach that love shit, that bitch shit, or that you know, that petty stuff or anything in what we used to in our relationships, it just goes away and it becomes something way more beautiful and unexpected. So yeah, man, I feel you on that.
That's deep, brother. And not everybody finds that.
Yeah, true.
Not everybody finds that.
But you find it within yourself, though. You find it within yourself and you magnetize it to you. It's not a point of like actually seeking and finding, because who has the skill for that? You really have to understand, you know, yourself, and then put yourself out there. And when you put yourself out there, I always talk about this Haitian I used to hang out with. We went out to the club. Maybe it was 170 girls in the club. He talked to 150.
That's right.
And when we left the club, phone was ringing off the hook. What you doing tonight? What you doing tonight? What you doing tonight? What you doing? I'm like, bruh, Is it like that? He's like, yes, it's like that. I'm about to make my selection.
You get then you get. That's why I tell cousin, ain't nothing but a numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
You go in there and holler at 10. I just use the number 10
Mm-hmm.
just to give them numbers we can easily work with.
Mm-hmm.
You holler at 10, you get 30% success rate. You still got 3 new ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just gotta, like you said, put yourself out there. We do that to each other to try to keep each other. You know, you got to do that. Just that. You know, sometimes you lose focus. You get so far into your head that you can be your worst enemy.
Isolate yourself, and then ain't nothing happening for sure. Ain't no probabilities. Nothing from nothing leads to nothing. You know what I'm saying? So,
man,
men or women, it's not of a point of like I want somebody to come into my life. I'm going out to get the person that's like, you know, I'm putting myself out there. And if I put myself out there, then I'm already coming at this thing like I ain't the problem. I'm out here being out here social, putting myself at risk, being vulnerable, you know, all of these types of things. And if it don't work out in my favor, I'm gonna still do the same thing tomorrow because this is what I want to do. So it's not even about what I learned from that is not the response. It's more or less how I respond to the response. You know, if I continue, then I'm in a good space. If it shuts me down, then I'm obviously not in game mode. You know what I'm saying? If I miss a shot, I'm all head down. Boy, you better put another shot up in the air. Shoot again.
And I see that too. See that? That's what I'm saying. That's deep because you see it in your kids too.
Right.
You know, and this is the whole thing. Like what we saying, where we are that. What is that? Vertices or that midpoint. You know that has the opportunity, the ability, the communicative ability to get that across to both sides, like the younger generation. You got to connect the dots with the old school cats that's still stuck in their ways. That's what I'm trying to, you know, like you said, we ain't trying to, you know, force no like what we said, no religion or nothing on there on them, but we still don't want them to. You know, I don't know. You feel like you don't want to see your brother suffer. You feel like you obligated to try to.
And we are, bro. We are, and that's a fact. It's not like if you feel like, say for instance, you have the ambition to be a successful person, and you do everything that it becomes to be successful. What you will have is a nice ass house, multiple cars, you know, interior, exterior, perfect lawn. Perfect landscape, pool in the back, you know what I'm saying? All of that. You'll have all of that. But guess what? You will still be unhappy. And then you would be in a space where you don't know how to even deal with your unhappiness. So you just buy more shit. You ever walk into a man's garage, that nigga got every single fucking tool. He don't do no fucking fixer-uppings. He just be buying all of the latest shit. You got all of the tools, but do you know how to use them? So you realize that it's not a personal life is not personal, nor is life lived in a vacuum. We are here to support one another because the support that I've received in my life has gotten me to this point, whether esoteric, physical, advice, all of that. I needed that shit. I needed a reading. I needed to get some spiritual enlightenment when my ass was in the darkness. You know what I'm saying? So it gets that point that, you know, you got to reach out to people and deal with people and then allow yourself to be helped and not really look at people as critical judgment, things of that nature. And we got to be like, oh, that's a black man. That's somebody that's going to help me, or that's a God right there, you know? And maybe he don't know.
Like you talking about, brother. Hell yeah, I feel that. I wanna catch you on this subject while you on it and talk about that darkness and about my little kinfolk that's over there across the other side of the Mississippi River. You know, he going through it in the worst way, trying to get prepared. And this is what some big cuz do is he bring it in the scope, and you know that's like we say, peace and love to the family. Like what you do when the family got to get cut off. This the hard pill right here that I'm dealing with. Is like, you know, somebody who really scared of the dark. Let's just put it like that. They're scared of the dark. You know, they're gonna do anything to stay away from the dark.
Right.
And that right there got my heart beating about it, chopping it up with you about it because it's that close to home. So it's like, I don't know, fool. It's just knowing that you're going to have to, like what we say, do the right thing even when it hurt. Like, I don't know, man. That's a deep one.
Yeah, and it's like I said, whenever it gets to a point where, if ever I get to a point, like with my child or with my wife, somebody very intimate to me, like sometimes my wife might struggle, or sometimes my oldest son, he's going through like his older mental, like he's 6 and he's like wants to be 16. And so he be wanting to do 16-year-old shit, but he only 6. So I have to kind of like correct him, like that comes like, you know, when can I start driving? You know, shit like that. And I'm like, it's gonna come, but it's just not now. And he might get frustrated. So I say all of that to say that you just have to understand people and their wants and their desires. And sometimes I worry, like, well, I'll be able to bestow wisdom on my child, but then I just have to realize myself, he's 6. So let me let him be 6. And you know, because was I ever even open to knowledge until maybe 12? That's probably when I was like really seeking knowledge. So I just want to have a positive relationship with them until he's able to come to me. So it's like allowing people to come to you through their own self-development, as opposed to wanting to help them. And then maybe they particular soul or they particular soul's path has some sort of turmoil or negativity. Like for me, it was my mom didn't want me to go to prison, but what the fuck was she gonna do about it? Exactly. Hey judge, please don't send my child to jail because I love him.
Write them letters and everything. Okay, bro. Like you already know, you do everything you can.
Hey, but it still goes down. And at the end of the day,
you a man for that, man. This is what I'm talking about, brother. This is what makes a difference, and this is what's the defense of our people.
Right.
Is you either on that side that you have experienced it, or you ain't went through it yet, or let's not even say yet. I ain't even gonna say that.
Yeah, that's
ain't went through it, or you afraid to cross that line, even though you was doing the shit.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
You know that was coming, that go with it.
Right.
Then you need to leave that alone. That's why I feel like, just like what we talking about, we the master observers. That's what like you said, Dreamwise said that, man. I'm picking up, man. Like you said, you learn a lot by conversation. So I just, like I say, man, just appreciate everything that you're doing and how you're doing it. I just respect, like I said, I always call me, want to give you that respect and that love utmost, you know, first and foremost. And I love to learn, like you say, just from observing, brother, from being a part of it, man. That's you know, I'm your biggest fan. Hey, I gotta get in there.
Oh yeah, and that's all it is. It's learning, and then once you learn something, like say for instance, it's a question that you have, and then you set on a journey to learn it. It's your obligation to share. Right? It's not your obligation to sit and learn, and then because maybe what you learning ain't for you personally. Maybe what you learning is for a generation behind you and things of that nature. It's people who've done things that don't even exist, but we still reaping the benefits or the rewards of their actual invention and innovation. So it's work to be done. But that work comes in sharing, that work comes in investigating and researching. But even in that, it begins on a presentation. And so that's where I'm at with it. It's more or less of trying to get people to say, okay, y'all know all of these channels, y'all know all of these deities, y'all know got all of these downloads. Well, why ain't I hearing about them? Why don't I know about them? Because it's like, I'm not the only one. Even I open up this phone, I'll talk for 30 minutes. I'll sit and talk to people for fucking 2.5 hours on shit. Like, you know, that's like profound. And it's based upon experience and downloads and channel. So I can't be the only one. That's, I'm not the only one. It's a whole live connection, and it's 80 people calling. And I'm sure they all got a particular experience that they want to share. So imagine all of these spiritual energy and entities at this particular space and time, letting you know that it's real, letting you know that you can move forward. However, do you actually acknowledge it within yourself to continue moving forward? Or do you think it's still something that can possibly hold you back or block you? And if that's the case, you got to continue to do the work.
it's as you said and as you mentioned. I love that you brought that up about, you know, the age of your man. That's what I'm saying. 6 years old, brother. I got a 9-year-old daughter that is doing exactly that, where I'm throttling her backward. And this what we do. We go across the street to the park, and we have, you know, remember, had to balance that egg on the spoon, you know, and try to have a race with it. Have them zigzagging through the post and trying to still keep it like you saying, trying to still keep it like what you saying, man. Y'all slow down at spring break right now, so you know, you got to get creative with the activities. We putting wood cards together, you know, as the crafts, arts and crafts, to keep stimulating their mind in that way. Like you said, not to, you know, turn the TV to tablet like everybody always say, but yeah, let's get cognitive with it. Need y'all to be good with your hands and paint skills and coordinate, hand-eye coordinate, you know, working on these real skills that, like, it's, you know, daddy time, showing them that we on something else. But I do feel like what we talked about is trying to keep them, like, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking I'm going to take them to the library. They're going to get their little nutrition books. And I even think just the young education, like how it has it structured in books, like where you should be able to call it like the milestones. Get them books that they can just go on and be looking at and absorbing. You know, if you flipping through something, you flip through this. You know, you see something healthy in here, and you know, something that you could be learning if you're interested in this milestone section that you in. Stay in your section. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We could build off that, like what you said, like earlier. You were like, we could build off, see how we could build off that, and wait on the feedback. And always be receptive, like what you're doing. I'm paying attention to you, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to flip it. You can't stay one-dimensional. You gotta, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm with you on that. I be trying to stay. Like, I feel big cuz feel like I'm ahead of my time when I come at him on full throttle, because I'm expecting him to be like you.
Right.
For example.
But the thing of it is like, people have their souls and they have a path, and certain times our paths meet, but inevitably they separate, and they may come again, they might conjoin again later, but at a moment they'll separate. And we have to understand that as humans, and understand that it's always our path, it's always our direction, it's always our journey. And that journey is not an external journey, that journey is an internal journey. And that journey is not a journey to the past, nor is it a journey to the future. It is a journey to this moment. And a lot of people tend to worry about what will happen instead of what can happen in this moment. And then you actually have to understand the idea of being the constant gardener. You are always delivering seeds. So when people speak to me, it's a particular prediction that they speak with, a certain manifestation that they speak with, that I always try to redirect, even if it's not true, even if it's far-fetched. What do you want the relationship to be? And if you find it within yourself, I want my wife to, you know, do certain things, but I don't actually be like this and do this and I go within myself, and sometimes I go within myself, right? And she'll just start to do that thing like I be wanting.
That's right. Reverse cowgirl. Shout out to that.
Shout out to the shout out to the stand-up action.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, like you said, you be putting, man. Hey, it ain't go without saying, man. I'm telling you. But this the whole thing. This the whole thing. Like, I'm feeling you on them paths and on them journeys, and that we did just that. When our paths separated, we come back together. This the thing is that he the moon. No, I'm the sun. Like, I feel that. I feel that like everything makes sense to me now. Same with my queen. Like, you gotta have the opposite though, to me, in my opinion, in order to get that different perspective that isn't yours, you know.
Right.
To me, that's what I see it as. Just like if you said, like, you know, come here, see if you're seeing what I'm seeing type thing, and then get their perspective on it. Make sure we stay grounded and level-headed with everything.
That's an important part of the spirituality that, like, say, for instance, if I'm going to talk, I realize that I might be saying some crazy shit. That's why I'm going to open up these call lines, because I usually like, you get where I'm at, or you know what I'm saying, like make sure that we on the same page, because obviously when we talk about a new world, there has to be some form of consensus into the fact that, hey, look, y'all, let's have a huddle. I'm gonna be doing my own shit from now into the future. So if you confused about, you know, how I'm doing it or how I'm doing it, it's because I'm doing my own shit. I'm responsible. I got integrity. I think I'm a good person. And because of that, I'm not going to be subdued by anybody's false ideologies anymore. And I'm bestowing this power onto you as well. And you can receive it, acknowledge it, and move forward and do whatever the fuck you want to do. Or, you know, go over there. You know what I'm saying? But generally, that's what these conversations is about. That's what the subconscious community is about. You following your own prompts and your own souls, because that's the only way to go. And if you want to follow the government, you might as well, you know, get in a long line of them coronavirus camps and what they call it, quarantines and shit.
The quarantine, yeah, that's just straight off Resident Evil. That's what I was thinking about when I was talking about the virus and the what you call it, the antivirus.
Man, look.
They already got both, like you said, in them little vials look shaped like the DNA thing, them different colors. They already, man, I'll tell you, that ain't crazy. There's fact stranger than fiction, man.
Man, it is. It is, big dog.
Yo, brother, like I say, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I know you got, you know, everything going on. You keep on keeping on. I'm going to be listening, you know,
no doubt,
in the background.
I appreciate you, man. And like I said, these builds and these conversations, they need it. Because like I said, when men have conversations for the world to see, you know, at least we reversing a stereotype for the moment. You know what I'm saying? That,
oh man, that's
the
truth. Absolutely.
You know, we able to have these builds and come together in pure love, and you know, love for my family to your family. And I see what you doing, you see what I'm doing, and you know how difficult it is. I know how difficult it is. So within that, we got to be able to speak on an emotional level, you know, outside of anything, you know, because black men need them type of conversations. And that's just something that I truly, truly believe.
Brother, the truth in these conversations that I'm telling you is okay, the dimension that you bring, you would love to have, like I'm telling you, Big Cuz and all his wisdom, because just like what we talk about is, he see me as being very intellectual, like what we're talking about on another, but he's on the same thing. It's just that his experience through life is the hard way that gives him a certain set of skills, like the dude on Taken, Liam. So you know what I'm saying, that also comes with a certain set of restrictions. So he's trying to overcome objection and obstacle, just as you know, if anything, I see him as being an MVP, like we're talking about, for being able to still thrive out here. You know, because that's the difference that you see across the board, is the levels of the people and how they are living, whether it's being, like you say, smoke and mirrors and the illusion, but I'm able to go in there and see the books on this particular situation. And I'm knowing, like, I see the opposition and everything you're dealing with, and you still able to stand up out here, like, man.
The best way to reach people, best way to reach people is found in asking them questions that they can answer. You can tell them that. You can tell them, but it's going to be you saying it. But if I ask you a question and you answer it, and then maybe you don't get it, so I ask you another question, and you answer it, and then you might get a collection of facts, and then a person still might get it, and then you'll repeat to him. So based upon what you answered, you are a God in the flesh. Based upon what you answered, you are, no obstacle can hold you back. Based upon what you answered, your ancestry, your lineage got your back. Based upon what you said, you're not actually working with the energy. So do you see where the problem is, bro? You know what I'm saying? And if you come at it like, boom, it's like this, like that, like that, like boom, like that, he gonna probably be defensive. But when you ask a person a question, they begin to be opened up to the possibility of maybe there's something more or something different or more profound that comes not from you but from them, because that's ultimately what we trying to do. We not trying to help people. We trying to help people help themselves. Right.
That's right. I'm with you on that part. I absolutely go in there and ask questions. I was working the sales business, and that those tactics I would think would be the inquisitive nature, just as you suggesting, and I think that that is a great tactic. That is a great tactic.
Yeah,
to really
if I'm
get
selling
them
some
to see for
TVs,
themselves.
you just ask all of the questions, and then you take everything that they say, and then you walk to the TV based upon your needs, based upon your family size, based upon how big your living room is, based upon the type of LDP you looking for. This is the TV that's best for you. This is my expert advice. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not.
You got all to say.
Yeah, because I'm listening. I'm listening, and now I'm telling you, based upon what you told me that you wanted, what's the best thing for you. But it's not. There's so many different ways that you can help people, but you necessarily have to see in the ways of which they absolutely need help, as opposed to taking it upon yourself to say that they even need help. And sometimes the darkness is a healthy place to be. It's the place where you get the most learning.
That's Lil Cuz.
Yeah.
Lil Cuz gonna have to go through that in time. And it's because all the decisions have led up to that. That's what he got to understand. That's why I came and touched down. And I'm trying to let him know, like, you're going to have to change. And then there you go. Like, all right, so.
But when you was little cuz, and somebody put you up on game, and you said.
I've been through that. That's the knowledge I'm trying to express. Like, I've been there. I started with that because I'm fucking with still. Like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still a little cuz, but I still got something to come tell y'all. Like, that's how it's supposed to go. See, like, and like you said, though, I'm asking questions, so it's a conversation. It ain't just talking at people. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to ask those questions. I feel that, brother. I feel that.
If you want to get your point across.
I'm looking at the solitude now.
Yeah.
What you say?
If you want to get your point across, but then again, what you say about solitude?
Man, hey, I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it. I remember they had it in class. Like, if you was outlandish in class, you had to go to that little class.
ISP, ISO.
And I'm cool in there. That ain't no punishment to me. I don't mind. I don't mind not being in mass population. I like being secluded and it being a certain few select individuals, and those few. We gonna be like what we talking about. Like,
Let me explain that though, because when we human beings, we love to say that shit. When I was alone, how I enjoy being alone. The reason why people even say that is because they not alone. When you have a high spiritual resonance, when you have a lot of ancestors, when you have higher selves and guides along with you, you be wanting to be alone so you could communicate. However, if I'm having people might not even respect my guides or respect my energy around me, and people would just sit and talk to me and shit. And we can talk or whatever, and that's cool, but I'm gonna initially or eventually feel a repel or a recoil or a need to be quote unquote alone. But the reality is that I'm not quote unquote alone. You can never be alone because you got DNA. What is DNA? DNA is information passed between father to child, and this process has been happening for you could say trillions of years. DNA is advanced, is information. So when you go into meditation out of purity after the water, like we've been talking about this whole conversation, you go into meditation, you have up to 1 billion things you can tap into. You can tap into any strand of DNA, any little RNA strand, and tap into a deeper level of your being. However, if we're going to look at this thing as just being a human being, then we would be under the assumption, under the illusion that we by ourselves. However, we not. And then you got to deal with the people who don't like for you to be alone, or when you having peace of mind, talking to you and bothering you.
Look, Man, brother, this is exactly what I'm saying. See, I'm just getting into the quantum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting into the quantum. So I'm that give me the chills to just bring that up because I catch what you throwing down. Like I'm into that. I'm in, and this is where I say where in that meditative state to me, that's the solitude that I'm talking about. I'm cool with. Like I ain't gotta have nobody to pass, my sage to. You feel me?
1,000%.
I'm straight. I can sit right here. I can sit right here and have all my platonic solids. You feel me? And just observe. You know what I'm saying? And just feel what it's the receptivity. You know, be receptive, be open, be calm. All that you just saying. Other people ain't gonna like you being that. They want you to come back and be involved with.
Be involved and take you out of your shit, and that's the game that we're dealing with. That's the enemy, and the enemy is not a particular person, but a particular energy that can possess any sad human being. So you deal with sad human beings, you dealing with possible a possession of a malevolent entity that want to keep you from your divinity, keep you from your sovereignty. And the thing that holds you back from that is that love for that human that ain't no human no more, because his sadness has literally put him in the lowest state possible, the sunken place. And so you got real live weird energies coming up, showing up in your life, and then people don't even realize where it's coming from or why it's even happening.
I can peep that shit. I can peep that like you're talking about, but it's that love, because that's the shit that Big Cuz got for all his family. So when they come around, he can't help but come out his pocket. Like even if it's a little, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that he deals with. We deal with the same type of energies, But that's the problem. It's like, okay, we're aware of it. How can we elevate to change the frequency of people that we are dealing with? So on 420, we got a plan to hit that train and go to Cali.
Okay, and
that's just.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Cut.
No, I'm listening.
No, you go ahead.
I was saying it's like if you really want to deal with it, you got to understand yourself from the quantum level. And a person might say, I ain't really into that, or I don't really understand that. It's your mere existence. You exist quantumly. You don't exist as a body, right? Your body is not your existence. Your name is not your existence. This life that, I'm good at this, I'm bad at that. Your personality is not your existence. Your personality is your persona, meaning it's a mask. Meaning that the shit that you're doing right now, you choosing to do it. However, I could choose to do different shit. People know me personality-wise differently based upon my environment. However, I understand my personality. My personality is not me. I am a quantum being. I am a small speck. I am a sand. I'm the size of a speck of a seed. However, when I bring my consciousness to that small level, everything I enlarge in myself. I can be very small. I can be very big. If we want to understand our energy, we got to understand the energy of Ant-Man. Right.
Ant-Man, you said it right out of my head. I ain't had to interrupt you. You feel me? I'm with you.
Right. Subatomic mode.
Man, that shit crazy for it. I'm telling you. And then it's like my son catching what I'm putting down. My daughter too, of course, but my son, because he loves the superheroes. You feel me? I'm in his head, boy. I'm in his head about it because I'm showing him like that shit real. That shit real. So focus on, just got to focus his attention. He like me with it. As you can tell by my conversation too. I'm sure it's just your brain can get the best of you. I talked to my man who owns the metaphysical store. I took Big Cuz down there on a field trip type shit just to watch how they interact. And it was cohesive in that too. So I'm knowing that Cuz got the intellectual property to be able to have these conversations with other people besides those that surround our community, but it's the exposure. Bingo. That's him. All right. My son, him is focus. So and he has the competitive nature. So these are the things, like you say, as a father, because I'm more than just a man out here. You feel me? I'm like you, brother, in a lot of senses, but we are one. And it's trying to just find now those similarities so we can build on that. the message that I'm trying to put out, man. Let's just look at how we can work together on the cohesiveness of what are our like interests.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
he brought that train ride up. I say, well, let's see what happened then. Let me know how much everything is, because I'm that one that got to get the plan, got to get the plan and make sure the backup plan and the backup plan. I'm that one. So I got to make sure everything's straight. Well, like now, let's go and start. You know, shit. By the time that come there, I'm gonna be on the train same way like I am everywhere else, just cool, my feet kicked up, probably sipping some coffee. You feel me?
Right.
Looking out the window. We don't often get to look out the window and observe the sights, because we often in the driver's seat of that spaceship. So you got to focus on your destination. So it's like I'm trying to take that what's your co-pilot position. You know,
and it's always a point of not you say trying a lot. You always you realize things, but then you imagine it to be some distant aspect or some level to get to, but you already there. So it's more or less of being reminded and remembering that you could be a pilot, but then you've also designed the ship to work on autopilot mode too. So it's just more or less of understanding your shit. But this is meditation and guided meditation in the fact of learning yourself and not trying to learn yourself, definitively learning yourself. And then the things that you learn, definitively writing it down, definitively presenting them, and growing with your expression and growing with your share. But if you trying, then that gives you an excuse not to show up because, you know, I'm trying. You know, I'm trying, hood. You know, fuck it. You know I'm trying, right? I'm trying. Like, it's more or less of you definitively know more than you are trying. Your trying was 10 years ago. Now you're definitive and absolute and all majestic and all powerful in this moment of awareness, you know, because you can choose to observe and aware anything that you want to. And from that observation, you can choose to feel how you want to, choose to process it how you want to, or, you know, all of these things. And then certain new information might come across to you, or maybe it's even old information that may be new to me, but you might think that is going to help. Right. I don't know what's making me share this with you, but I was talking to my wife. I was talking to my wife yesterday, and she has these bath salts. These bath salts is crazy, right? They crazy, but she don't sell them. So I'm like, yo, why don't you sell them? And she's just like, I don't know. And then we sometimes talk about like marketing and things like that. And that was like a lesson that I'm gonna probably talk to her about. Like, that's marketing right there. People want these bath salts. These bath salts is hitting. So it's not always about what we want, but sometimes it's about what the people want. And I reference that to you because you have those things within you that the people want, but you might be really trying to figure out what you want, but it might be tied into giving the people what they want.
That's deep, bro, and that shit hard. Then that's what this will bring that old shit back, like you said. That's harder than a mug. That's harder than a mug. Right. Hey,
it's
man,
difficult
because it's the people. It's the people that I have always been since childhood. You looking to impress people. You know what I mean? And that I live a life that I don't care to do that, but you care to do that.
Yeah, deep down inside, because you want to be successful, and you can't be successful within yourself. You can only be successful with dealing with the community and having some interdependence and exchange.
So I became with this. I think, like I say, it was building up, whatever it being the timing of the conjunction, whatever. But I ended up losing my we want to say resource, but I never lost the source.
I should.
Okay, so losing the resource put me in a particular situation that required action. Now, I rose up out of the ashes, a landlord. So trying to be a new landlord first time, of course I get my, my lease, my terms and everything, signed and notarized, and hold him accountable as well. Like, but it's a perfect situation. Everything is coming. Okay, I'm trying to be, like we say, trying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be the best possible one that you can be.
You are
in
the
this
best
situation.
You are, and you are doing the best possible thing that you're doing in
Right.
this situation. You ain't trying, because that's not the truth. The truth is that you are doing it, and then it's like the light. It's a light, so the light becomes dim. You're not able to see as much as you used to see. So because of that, you think that you lost the light, but the light is just dim. However, one can begin to, what I tend to do with my candles is pour the wax out. So we purge it.
Oh, yeah.
So the light becomes a little bit more brighter, so we can begin to see a little bit more deeper. Where we think it's external, it's always internal, and it's always about brightening up your resonance, strengthening your awareness by purging. Like, so the thing that me and Dreamwise was talking about is not for shits and giggles, it's for the raising of awareness. So we all have candles that they about to die out, they real dim. You know how we get them lit up. We purge, we pour out that wax. Once we pour out that wax, what did that light do? It get all bright again. So, you know, that's kind of the process. You know, it's a light that becomes dim, that we don't have to try. We can actually do it definitively, purge, definitively raise our energy, and definitively raise our vibration.
That's it. Like you said, definitively.
Mm-hmm.
I know who I am as far as, like we say, when we're looking at labels, and I understand, and I just look to be accountable for all the responsibilities that come with those labels. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
and
father
all
and things of that nature, but there's a larger part of you that's not none of that. And that's going to sustain you and support you in those particular labels. You are a father, but when you go to sleep, you're not a dad. When you do the ayahuasca, you're not a dad. When you do the hallucinogenics, you become your soul that was already existing before you became who you are today in many different times. So, you know, once the DMT gets raised and everything comes into alignment, the deeper way to process it is that I'm none of these things. I'm something completely different. And when I come back to the earth, I'll be that. You know, I'll be dad, or, you know, uncle and cousin.
That's the part. That's the part, brother. And I don't mean to interrupt, but I'd like to keep you right there on where you at on the subject. That part where you coming back and forth is what I'm dealing with, where you like, man, all right, you know, that's where I'm at. Like, all right, I'm back, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, shit, I don't really even want to be back. Like, y'all ain't on shit. But they is. But to me, I'm like, man, shit, I'm not stimulated. I'm not stimulated by my environment. You know, I've done the traveling thing. No, I was shit. Like I said, I got some frequent flyer miles on that highway, boy.
Right.
We ain't even, like I say, that is when I felt great. I ain't gonna bullshit you. I was stopping through them little rest stops and shit, soaking up the center. That's when I felt great. That's when I felt great. But shit, this, like I say, these people is what I feel like. I need a new, like we said, new exposure. We both need it, because we one in the same. That's what I see in him, where I keep showing up. Like, I just want to keep him where we at. Like, let's stay on the level. Let's keep going with it. Because we got that potent potential as co-creators to shit. That's how I feel it. But he do too, and he got high expectations for me. It's just that we trying to figure out each other's roles and how we gonna do that in that cohesiveness. Even if we got, you know, separate journeys, but on this external, and we trying to piece shit together externally, that's manifest. You know, we trying to manifest some more shit.
That's a difficult thing for me, but in partnerships, I just do everything that needs to be done.
Right.
I just do everything that needs to be done. That's the type of partner I am. So it's just like I don't try to balance it. Yeah, or if a person wants to step up, then they need to learn that part of life. But then certain people, that's not their lot. That's not their fortune. It sounds good and it looks good, but when it comes to the actual work necessary to build something and to sustain it, you know, they get trailed off into sexual things. They get trailed off into material things. They'll easily drop the ball. And if I'm the type of person that I know I'm not going to drop the ball, it's not going to limit me to partnerships and relationships. I just know that when it comes down to getting things accomplished, that I might have to be the one that do a lot more. And that's kind of where I'm saying that you should take it to where you just take full responsibility of everything
and accountability
and not expect anything, because what it sounds like is that your energy is tied up and blocked in particular expectations that maybe they might manifest, maybe they don't, but it has nothing to do with your magnetic frequency in this particular moment. You could still be as strong, as powerful as you need to be. If motherfuckers don't want to acquiesce, or people don't want to be a certain type of way, or they want to particularly choose to struggle, you have to be okay with that and remagnetize, remonetize, and re-understand and remember yourself. And that's really the goal. Lighten that light, making sure your light is really shining as much as it possibly can throughout the day. And certain ideologies or certain expectations that we have on other people, there is no solution for it. There's no solution for a great relationship. There's no solution for a bad relationship. We can only understand both sides of the spectrum. Sometimes we have good relationships that make a lot of sense, that resonate with us, that grow us, that help us, that build us, that strengthen us, support us. And sometimes we got relationships that take us down to the lowest levels that we could ever imagine. The thing about human beings, we look at the relationship that took us down to the lowest level with the greatest fondness, because we learned the most lessons. We had great women in our life, bro, that we ain't even treat right.
Yeah.
We ain't treat them right. We ain't appreciate them. They had their shit together. They was down to love us, hold us down, but we wasn't ready, right?
It be like that when you like you say, you had that little cuz mentality.
Yeah.
You still on that little cuz shit.
So we can't judge that.
One step past that. Yeah. Right, and I don't. That's just the whole thing, bro. That's why I want to make sure you understand, though, too. I'm not out there being the judge, jury, and with the executioner. You know, I ain't that movie Dread. Although I fucks with him. I fucks with him on that movie Dread. You seen that one?
Hell yeah.
He like RoboCop.
Dread and Demolition Man. Demolition Man and Judge Dread. I don't watch them unless I can watch them back to back. I had to have like 4 hours.
Already.
Have like a couple of blunts. I watch Demolition Man, and then from Demolition Man I go straight into Judge Dredd like that. Take me right back to my childhood like a motherfucker. I be tapped in.
That's the triggers, ain't it? Look, this is what I'm saying. Not everybody understand that part of how that media, music, movies, and even certain books, that stuff is. It holds value, like you say. Whatever it is you came up with, you come around somebody, you exchange libraries. That's the part where I'm trying to tell my people is like we got to exchange information. I had hit on this before. It's just, what do you know? Let's talk about what you know, and then let's just try to build on that and expand our, like we say, just the expansion of, intellectual property shit. If we ain't gonna own shit, everybody's just out here leasing shit.
Right, but then again, that comes with a build, that comes with a development, that comes with an audience, and it also comes with a refinement. My thing is always striving to get better and not really questioning things around me, like questioning nothing. I question nothing. I have weird, sketchy relationships with people that I used to thought was close to me, but I don't give a fuck. However it manifests or whatever, I just don't care. I'm completely detached, like Asha said, from relationships because I can't dictate or navigate or control. And if I'm going to associate with a person that's going to relegate or even pull me into particular spaces and then blame me for their particular life choices and things of that nature, I have to kind of protect my energy because, I can sort of sense where a person is going with it. Like, I know you're not talking about a female, but certain times I sense in a female where it's like, okay, she wants to use me for a particular reason, and then once that reason becomes manifest, then I'm gonna be a bad guy. And I always had that feeling beforehand going into relationships, but it always kept manifesting like that. And then I'm learning, like, okay, don't even if you sense that, then don't, that's what spirit is doing. So if spirit gives you a negative feeling, then you actually got to kind of honor it and observe it, and don't, if that's not what you're trying to realize, then don't follow it. And then when I met my wife, I didn't feel that. I would be like, what do you feel about like taking a walk? And she'd be like, cool, I'll meet you at the park. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was that type of shit. So it was just like, you know, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't the weird dude no more. I wasn't, you know, being set up for a particular vibration.
That's
so
right.
Yeah, so it's more or less of getting to places where you match energy versus trying to fight and contend with people to do what you hope that they would naturally do. And that's a losing fight. That's what I say. That's what I come to the conclusion to. It's a losing battle, and the victory is already won. So when I have relationships, they better be favorable, or I ain't fucking with it. Me personally, I'm just not fucking with it.
Hey, that's how it gotta go. And look, we both the same. We all the same in that way. It has to be beneficial or it's artificial. You know,
facts.
We keep it. We keep it in a certain realm with each other. That is certain, you know, laws that. You know, the unwritten code shit. It's just when we come around, I feel like that is a connection, and it isn't that we trying to change one another. That's that one thing that we just gonna have to go with each other to allow each other to get new exposure, and that's what the communication has to be between us. Don't try to come over here on my frequency side. We're gonna go on this journey together, but. You keep your energy over there. I keep my energy over here. We gonna meet back in the middle when the train leaves back over here to come back around this way.
100%, man. 100%.
You know, we can get that understanding, brother. I get that from having this conversation with you. That's deep. And the conversation you had before my conversation, like you said, also having opening ears, not to just be so willing to just spew out. You know, have those ears open and ready to receive something too.
Yeah, man. And I just want to really thank you because it allows for, I was listening to Abraham Hicks and she was having like a download from the actual deity, and she kind of got into a moment where they was having a conversation where somebody was asking her a question, she was answering it, and then she paused, and then she started talking to the audience, and she said, you know, we love human beings for this because you allow for this message to happen. And what she was saying that she loved that people were just sitting there listening and they were observing it. So it was actually a conversation, but then it was actual support for this conversation that allowed the minute, like a lot of people not gonna say nothing, they not gonna ask no questions, however they just gonna sit, absorb game, and it's going to better them, it's going to help them. But that actually is the platform for which spirituality is able to stand on. People just simply listening and observing. That means that it has some sort of resonance or truth to it. So when we having these conversations, you might think that it's just me and you, but it's a lot of people, you know, that's in on this conversation. So, and it's a lot of different intentions, and it's a lot of things that is triggering in people's mind. So as people, you know, go throughout their day, they might hold some resonance to words that you said that allow them to see things in a different way, words that I said that allow things to see things in a different way. But this is the real thing. When we having spiritual conversations and spiritual platforms, we have support, you know, and that's just an indication, you know. And so if we have support and we have eyes looking at us, then me and you, we got to have positive conversation. We got to have loving and inspirational words for one another. So when a person say shit about black men, like I was talking about earlier, them doing the coronavirus spell on black men, we got to understand that they ain't talking about us. They talking about a different type of subspecies of men and energy, because what we present and what we relate to each other is something more beautiful and much more cosmic and much more sensitive than a lot of people give us credit for. So I appreciate you for calling in and building with me.
You still got the same email address, brother?
For sure.
All right. Well, that had already been sent anyway. The
Okay.
other one was gonna be that I'm going back to letting you know about how you said that it may not have been a female that I'm talking about, but let us not forget that some men have feminine tendencies.
1,000.
Because those man, that be the it right there, bro.
That be the situation. That's kind of it sounds something like that, you know what I'm saying? And not even in no discrediting way, but sometimes I've been doing my I've been building my testosterone through particular supplements and things like that. So what I've been noticing through my experimentations is that I don't go out the house looking crazy no more. Taking care of myself. This morning I did me a little manicure. I'm talking to women more easily and freely. I'm not even scared. I actually want to, or how I feel about myself. I feel good about myself, and this is like dealing with testosterone and building my testosterone up. You know what I'm saying? And these is things that I couldn't necessarily do beforehand.
See, that's the same energy that Cuz has. He's a recluse when it comes to getting out there. That's where I came in, was trying to show. I told you who I was with that Bruce Leroy and you told me the song to look up with old buddy with the afro with that speak the Spanish.
Ralphie Pagan.
I looked up Ralphie Pagan. I listened to 2 songs that he had. One of them he was really saying something in Spanish. I forget what the song was, but I know that he's more of a sensual healer like Marvin Gaye. I'm saying like what you mean, like, man, y'all have to feel like what you said, instead of the want, or what did you say, the try. I'm trying to get out there, but like same way with him. Now he's starting to get more outgoing with it, and he's seeing that his work is, so it built his confidence up. Now his whole little presentation. I'll tell you, that's like you're saying. It's just that little vote of confidence that we do for each other. That as men, that to me, like I say, that's priceless. Yeah. That's priceless.
If you ever see a man come out the house looking dusty, looking crazy, and he's sad, and he ain't energetic and turned up like John is, then you might want to get him like some fenugreek. Where's my bill? Where my pills? Yeah. I pull this out, niggas think that I'm 80 years old. I got the whole knapsack full of pharmaceuticals and nootropics and things of that nature.
You gotta be the mobile pharmacy, brother. I'm telling you.
You feel me? So I got this little bottle, that little bottle of fenugreek right there. I got this for like $10, and I got 100 caps. So for $10 you get 100 caps. And when I tell you my testosterone is levels, I ain't felt this way since I was like 16, 17, 18, honestly. And I didn't even feel like that when I was 16, 17, 18, 19. It was only when good things would happen. But I feel like I'm 16, 17, 18, 19, but it's always good things happening. And I'm the same person that I always was, but I think testosterone is one of the real big keys to like men being happy and men understanding their energy and then being able to project it or express it. We can talk about it, but if the internal hormone is not actually activated, there is no way. And if we're eating food, right, we're not getting the supplements that we need or the energy that we need. And if we are just not doing anything herbal or anything like that, then we probably suffering the consequences of low hormonal frequencies and vibrations.
That's right.
So
I wanted to hit on something that you was on, the pharmaceuticals. I was looking at taking the probiotics and all of the elderberry and all of that. I want to know, like you say, the extra stuff, because my queen is real big on what do you call it, homeopathics?
1,000. Yeah.
She's big on that, and that's where I say the two perspectives got to come together, man. I think that the youth I'm looking at, like we say, the conversation. I'm looking at, like you said, the future, the present. I'm looking at the past. I'm looking at everything that has come to pass. And then I look at, like you said, the testosterone levels. I'm going to go back to that, saying how, you know, back when you're 16, 17, you know, a lot of people full of that energy, that testosterone to, you know, lift weights and and do all of what would build, you know, on the external. Okay, so what is the chemical that you need to enhance spiritual development on the internal?
Testosterone and estrogen.
So both of those.
Testosterone, estrogen, melatonin, and then, you know, there's a lot of different. It's just all. So every time I talk, you gonna talk? Is that the situation? Yeah. So it's just more or less of sleep, circadian rhythms, melatonin. So I take 5-HTP for that, and then testosterone, fenugreek. I take fenugreek for my testosterone, and then there is some neurotransmitter work that I like to do. So I take GABA for that, nootropics. So my nootropics for my brain work, I take a multivitamin.
Oh yeah.
And then like for smoking, I got Lobelia. You just gotta know what you need and get what you need. So, you know, I know what I need. I be having mood problems and stuff like that, and then my brain, I be having ADD where I have trouble focusing and stuff like that. But this got saffron, ginkgo, and then some other extracts. But I got this real powerful nootropic called Tau, but that's like $80 a bottle, and I be getting like 1 to 2 at a time. But when I do take it, it be like really turning me up. But there's it just depends on your personal needs, and then figuring out what herbs and things of that nature is going to help you or sustain you or build you for, you know, your actual inner war, your inner development. So what do you struggle with, you know, and then figure out the herbal supplements that actually help that, you know, and then begin to take them. What I've learned is that you take herbs the first day, second day, you might not feel nothing, but the sustained taking of them, the practice of taking them, and over time letting the actual energy absorb into your bloodstream and things of that nature, they start to work really, really well. So it takes a minute, but, you know, I'm all into herbs and all into supplements and things of that nature because they actually help me on a day-to-day, and it's not like something that I feel like it's not, I can actually monitor and track the progress, you know, just like even if I'm clear of speech, because sometimes like I used to have problems where I just couldn't talk straight, you know, and I still struggle with that. Like I'm not a good speaker. However, when I start to do the work and start to help myself, I begin to speak better and I speak well, and I enjoy when I'm speaking as opposed to like struggling, like when I hear it, like, damn, that sounds crazy. But now I'm just like, okay, who is this person, you know? But it's also it's a part of doing the inner work and balancing those hormones, and testosterone being really the key major one. But bro, I'm about to
you hit on one right there.
I'm about to get into this little child because he
go ahead.
He turned up to the whole full max, and we'll continue this conversation at a later date, bro.
You got it, brother. Hey, take care of yourself. Peace and love, brother.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling, and thank you for the build and allowing us for this to exchange this information and help the family. So please give me a call at a future date.
Already. Take it easy.
Thank you, man. Just want to say thank you to the family for tuning in to another episode of Tapped In Daily Energy Reading. Today we talked about the Suvati Nakshatra. John got a limit of just when he just done, and Like my friend Brittany said yesterday, he runs the whole entire house. So I have to acquiesce. Peace to the family. I see y'all on the flip side.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning.